All right, now we've got our side, we've got the creamed corn. Now we're going to make a little bit of a sweeter dish, the sweet potato casserole. So we did a few things ahead of time.
Yes.
We boiled some potatoes. You're going to use about 3 to 4 large sweet potatoes. You're going to want to boil those, and then you're going to want to mash them. So you'll put them in the water to boil cubed, and then you'll mash them up. You got that here. We're going to pour in our other ingredients. We've got a ½ cup of milk. If you want to grab the butter, we'll put in the butter, and you're going to use a half stick of butter for that, so about 4 tablespoons. ½ cup of milk. You're going to put in a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and you're going to pack that down. Then we're going to do eggs. You want to split up the eggs here. Sure. You can crack one, I'll crack the other. All right, great. Look at that, in sync. All right, and so we can put those right back in there. 2 eggs, and then you're going to want to do a ½ teaspoon of kosher salt. We're just going to use regular salt. It's not a big deal, not much difference. The recipe calls for kosher salt, but we're just going to use some regular salt here. All right, and then if you'd like to do a teaspoon of vanilla extract.
Thank you.
Put that in there, give it a little bit more sweetness. Now we're going to whisk this together, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to have Savannah take care of the topping. So you're going to have your base with all the sweet potatoes. We're going to kind of whisk this together, and then we're going to do the topping. So Savannah, for the topping, you're going to put together everything we've got over there. I believe it's a ½ cup of flour, so we'll put that flour in there. Then we've got the butter, which is going to be another ½ stick. So you're going to want about a stick, and we actually doubled this because we determined earlier that you needed a little bit more butter. So I'd say anywhere between a ½ stick to a whole stick of butter for the topping. Then you're going to do brown sugar, ½ cup. And then what I'm going to have you do is, and just a little bit more salt, just a 1/4 teaspoon, so you can kind of eyeball that a little bit. If you haven't heard the word eyeball enough, you can tell that Savannah and I like to kind of just do our own thing a little bit with the recipes, but just a little bit. And then you're actually going to mix that all together, kind of get that clumped together first. And then you'll add the pecans. Over here we've got this. The filling looking real nice, good. All together. Okay, so then we're going to take this over here. I'm going to cut across you here and put the filling in, and then once that's kind of mixed together, you can put the topping in of the pecans. And before we finish up with the filling and put the topping on top of it, we're going to use our secret ingredient. So you can sprinkle the secret ingredient onto this as you go, or you can mix it in depending on how much you like. And if you'd like to hand me the secret ingredient, we have blueberries. So I know what you're thinking, blueberries and sweet potatoes. Interesting. But it does add a little bit of a tart or a sweet, another avenue of sweet there. So we're going to kind of put these in here, and we'll mix them around.
Looks good.
You can also put them in the mixture as you're mixing it together. It doesn't really matter either way. Just depends on how much you want. So the blueberries, since they are kind of an added ingredient, you can do as many as you want. So I use anywhere between a ½ of one of these you'll find at the store, or you can use up to, 1 or 2 of them if you really want a lot of blueberries. If you want one in every bite, we'll put a few more in there. Finish up this. And then, if you would, Savannah, right after I put these last ones in there, make sure this is nice and even. If you want to add in the topping there.
All right. Do you just lay it on top?
Yeah, and you can kind of just spread it on there, on top of there.
All right.
Perfect. So I have to say that I have made sweet potato casserole with my mom for years, love sweet potatoes, but the secret ingredient, I have to give a shout out to one of my best friends, Grace, and her mom, Mama Ruth. They told me about these blueberries, so I have been adding them onto this now for the past couple years. Wow, it is delicious. It's a great thing, and you know what? It kind of makes you feel like you're a little bit more healthy because you've got some fruit in there. It adds a little bit of that as well. You don't see a lot of fruit dishes for Thanksgiving, and we'll go on and kind of just spread that there. So that mixes on top.
So you guys have been doing this for a while now?
Yeah, and Grace and her mom have been making it like this for a long time. So I can't take the credit for that. This is just a basic sweet potato recipe, and then you can add the blueberries there as a nice little added ingredient.